Welcome back to Gaming with Pants, and I told you I was going to be keeping you updated on what's going on lately. And so the plan was to be moving into the new house this coming weekend, and it's still the plan, but we kind of need the van to do that. So Sunday night or Sunday morning, 4, 5-ish, right? I wake up and I'm like, man, what is that smell? Like, there's like this smell, and it kind of smells like fingernail polish remover or like hairspray, And so the woman's asleep, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna get up, and it's a small apartment. And so I get up, I check the apartment. It only really seems to smell like right at the bed. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like I went to bed before she got home. Maybe she's got like some fingernail polish, and she removed it, or like she has some hairspray in her hair, something like that. So I'm like, well, I got to pee, so I'll go ahead and go pee. And I wash my hands, and then I'm heading back to bed, and the bathroom is like straight, to the bed. And so I'm like, okay, you know what? It stinks in here. Like, I'm just going to crack open the window over the bed and like let it air out. We haven't like turned on the heater or anything, so it's not like super cold or anything. So I'm like, I'll just crack open the window, let it air out. As soon as I crack open the window, I'm like, oh man, no, that's way worse. So my wife wakes up and she's like, oh man, that is so horrible. I'm like, dude, like that is horrible. And immediately I'm like, that is gas. It smells just like gas. And so I'm like, okay, I got to get on some shoes. I got to get on a sweatshirt. I got my basketball shorts that I wear to bed in, but I'm like, whatever. I got to get outside, get out front. And this is Halloween, like the beginning of Halloween. And I'm like, is somebody up here, like, trying to like prank us or something. And so I get my shoes on, I grab my phone, I just have the flashlight on my phone, and I go out, and as soon as I open up the door, it sounds like somebody turned the garden hose on. And I'm like, that's coming from the van. So I like march out to the van, and I mean, it's a good 20 feet away from the door. And so I march out there, and the van is just pouring gas all over the ground. I mean, just pouring gas. And so my wife comes out, and I'm like, I need a bucket. We got to get this under here. Like, we're just pouring gas. And to fill the van up, it was like $75. And I've only made 1 or 2 dump runs, which is like 2 or 3 miles per dump run in the van. And so there's like basically $75 of gas just pouring on the ground. So she gets me this bucket, and not even looking at it, I just stick it under there. And so then I'm like, where's this gas coming from? So I'm getting down, but I don't want to get in the gas. Like I said, I'm just wearing shorts, so I'm just like on my knees. So I'm like, grab the bumper, and I lean down underneath, and I can see this split. Now, looking at it at the time, it looked like the gas tank itself had split, or the pipe where the gas tank, like the fill line comes in, split. But I can't tell what's going on in there, and I can't really get underneath there, and it's still just dumping gas and dumping gas and dumping gas and dumping gas and dumping gas. And I'm like, okay, so we're gonna have to wait until the morning, like when it's light. And so we come back in, and it's like, well, there's no going back to sleep at this point. I'm just gonna fire up a video game or a show. And so we stay up, and it's about 7. I'm like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm going to go back to sleep. So I conk out for like a couple hours and get up and go out there, and the lights out, up. And so I go over there and I look, and there's this rubber connection between where the gas line comes in, where you'd like stick the nozzle in, and it comes down, and it's metal. And then there's this small section of rubber, and then it goes into the gas tank, and it's at the bottom of the gas tank. So all the gas in the van is gone. Like, it's dripped out, and then it's still kind of dripping. And so I went and I like asked some dudes, And they're like, well, no, that's like one piece. Like there shouldn't be a rubber piece in there. I'm like, no, there's this rubber piece in there. Anyway, so I came back to the house after like trying to figure out, like going to the automotive stores to find out like what piece I need to replace. And I come back and I take it off. And now this is what I pulled off of there. This, I had to cut part of it off, but if you see that nylon, this is a radiator hose. It is not gas rated. This thing has been, we've had the van for 2 years. It's a 72, but I have no idea how long this has been just sitting in gas, because it goes to the bottom of the gas tank. So it's always saturated in gas. So I've been trying to find a gas rated 2-inch hose to go there for the last 2 days. And yeah, now my fingers are all black just from touching it. The gas ate through this and it was ballooned up. And when I went to take the hose clamps off that somebody had put, they attached hose clamps. I don't think you can see it, but there was 2 hose clamps on here, and then this side was crimped, and this side was at the gas tank. And so they had 2 hose clamps on here to make sure that, it's not leaking. And then this one was crimped. And so I had to take like a screwdriver and a hammer and to get this one off. These 2 you just unscrew. But it had basically turned back into tar. And so as soon as I touched any part of the middle, my fingers went right through. And as you can see, like I said, just from touching it just a little bit, but I mean, my hands were black. And so I get it off and I go to every automotive store. I go to the tractor automotive place, and they're like, yeah, every single place, like 1.5 inches. That's all we have. 1.5 inches. That's all we have. Now we need the van coming up this weekend to move. So the only thing I can really think at this moment is to replace it with another piece of radiator hose to use the van for that short period of time, get the van to the new house, drain the fuel off, and then replace it, and then replace the whole system. So if anybody has any suggestions as seriously as to what to do with that situation, because I don't want this over again. I don't want to be crawling under the van and be like, well, every year I need to replace this because the gas is going to eat it away. If there's a place or like a website that you know of that we can get a 2-inch gas or fuel rated hose, and it's what, 3 inches, 4 inches long. I mean, it's shrunk up a lot since the gas has dried out. It just reeks in here now of gas since I brought it in here to do this video. But if there's anybody that knows, like I have 4 days, not counting today. I have 4 more days of a place to get a piece of gas rated hose that is 2 inches, 2-inch diameter. That's the ID, the inside diameter of the hose needs to be 2 inches, and I can hose clamp it on there. That's fine as long as it's not leaking, because also the exhaust is right behind it or right in front of it. So, gas, hot, boom, fire, bang, no more van, no more pants wife, no more whatever you're hauling. That we don't want to happen. So, if anybody has any idea, any thoughts on this, I went to O'Reilly's, I went to Connects, I went to AutoZone, we went, like I said, the Tractor Supply store, and they were like saying, go to Walmart. And it's like, Walmart doesn't even have radiator hose. Like, if I need, I would rather just buy a piece of radiator hose than try to figure out something at Walmart. And they're like, Bi-Mart. And it's like, well, I've been to Bi-Mart. They have a little, but it's always small diameter stuff. So if there's like a website that we can order it and get it quick, or if there's a place that you know of that we can get that, that would be great. So we ended up not getting the insulation put in under the house because we needed the van to get the lath boards to put the insulation in. We only have 20 feet of lath board and we have about 600 feet of flooring that needs to be insulated. So I understand that that's going to be, we're going to be living there when that's going to be happening. At this point, I wanted it to be done before we moved in, but now it's going to be, that needs to be done after. And a lot of the stuff now we're just going to be living there and having to do it because we were very dependent on the van. And I don't want to hillbilly it back like this, but I mean, if that's the best solution for a short period of time, that's what I'm going to have to do. But if there's a better solution, like a long-term solution, I would love to hear that. So anyway, I'm Pants. This has been Gaming with Pants, more like vlogging with Pants lately. And seriously, if anybody has any kind of idea, that would be great. I would fucking love it. Sorry for the language, but I mean, I would love it. I would love, like, that was not 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning to wake up to gas. I mean, it's like 20 gallons of gas out there, just in the gravel now, just gone. It's like $75 of gas, just gone. So yeah, don't buy old vehicles that you don't know what people have done to. And Slater, I'm talking to you. All right. Well, this is Pants. I'll talk to you later, hopefully with better news next time.